Hey, what's going on? It's Jeff Newport from ChasingStrength.com. And in today's video, we are going to answer the question, or at least half the question, can you build muscle with kettlebell swings? This is part one. So I got a message from Mike the other day, and he asked me, can you build muscle with swings? And I think that's a great question. Let's take a deeper dive because this is an important topic. First of all, let's just clear the air here and say that building muscle is just a matter of exercising against resistance. Okay. So said another way, muscle is built by exercising against resistance. So let's answer the question, are swings or kettlebell swings resistance? Yes, of course it is, right? Of course they are. But let's also point out that not all resistance is the same. So if Mike is really asking, can you build muscle and look like a bodybuilder from using just swings or just kettlebell swings? The answer is a resounding no, or a heck no, or no way in heck, or no way in HE double hockey sticks, or however you want to say it. But you can build muscle, and that muscle will primarily be built in your posterior chain, your glutes, your hamstrings, lower back, even your calves, maybe some abs as well, okay, and maybe some upper back, okay. And yes, you'll build some muscle, all right, in your arms, but not a lot. So don't pin your hopes on it, okay? Why not? Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. All right, second, according to Dr. Brad Schoenfeld, PhD, who's one of the world's leading researchers on muscle growth, there are three primary ways or methods to build muscle. The first is called mechanical tension, and that's lifting heavy weights for lower reps, similar to the way powerlifters train. So think multiple sets of 2 to 5 reps per set, okay? The second is called muscular damage, and that's lifting moderate weights for medium to higher reps, similar to the way that bodybuilders train. Okay, so think multiple sets of 8 to 20 reps. And the third is called metabolic stress, and that's doing either high reps or complexes where you don't set the weight down, which in turn produces intense burning and releases metabolites like lactate. Okay, so where do swings fit in here? Okay, which one of these three mechanisms do swings fall under? Well, for optimal programming, muscular damage, usually sets of 10 to 20 or between 15 and 30 seconds, right? Now, for many, sets of 20 typically causes too much soreness for most to bear, okay? Or another place they can fit in is metabolic stress, where you can and you are willing to tolerate some form of muscle soreness, right? Delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, over the next couple of days. We'll get into more about DOMS and metabolic stress a little later on. Now, Mike actually followed up stating about the kettlebell swing. He goes, I know that they are used usually more for fat loss. And you know what? Mike is 100% right. Like most people's default for kettlebell exercises for fat loss is the kettlebell swing, usually 2 hands, sometimes 1 hand. So yeah, swings, kettlebell swings, they are great for a lot of people for fat loss and for building conditioning, right? Metcon, if that's what you want to call it. All right. So most people actually can't go wrong with using swings if those were the only 2 outcomes you receive from doing them. In fact, they are what we call entry-level kettlebell exercises. And many people, like my good friend Mark Rifkin, a retired StrongFirst master instructor emeritus, he actually states, I'm going to flash this quote up on the screen here because it's actually pretty powerful, right? He said, it has been said that a properly executed kettlebell swing is better than 99% of all strength and conditioning exercises. I respectfully disagree. I believe it is better than 100% of all the strength and conditioning exercises, at least for 99% of all people. Now, I love Riff. He's a great friend, but I wouldn't agree 100% with that statement. But you know what? I'd say it's really close, especially when we see that kettlebell ballistics, like the kettlebell swing, check the boxes for staving off the aging process, right? So kettlebell ballistics, especially the kettlebell swing. Okay. And please, let me just, a side note, the kettlebell ballistics, in case you're not familiar with them, are a category of kettlebell exercises which are performed explosively. They start with the 2-hand swing, move to the 1-hand swing. We have the kettlebell clean, and then we have the kettlebell snatch, right? That's horizontal projection of force and vertical projection of force, and they're hinge dominant, posterior chain dominant. Okay, we also have a couple others, which are vertical projection of force, and they're more a combination of the anterior chain or the front of the body and the back of the body. posterior chain, and that's the push press and the kettlebell jerk. Okay, so that's our category called Kettlebell Ballistics. Okay, so let's take a quick look at why the Kettlebell Ballistics are so powerful for staving off the aging process. All right, first, they increase power production, all right, or power output. Second, they improve glucose tolerance and decrease glucose intolerance. Okay, that's the ability to use blood sugar for fuel, right? They improve insulin sensitivity or decrease insulin resistance, and or is what we should say. So they improve insulin sensitivity and decrease insulin resistance. Okay. They decrease body fat. They train the postural muscles. They strengthen your grip. They strengthen your legs, including your posterior chain, right? Primarily your posterior chain, as we discussed earlier, but also the front of the legs. So the teardrop muscles that bodybuilders covet, right? And the quadriceps. And they also improve cardiovascular health. So, I mean, that's a pretty good laundry list of benefits from doing kettlebell swings and kettlebell ballistics. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. All right. So how do you program these things? Well, traditionally multiple sets of 10 reps, like 10 sets of 10 reps is standard operating procedure in the kettlebell world for the right amount of conditioning. It's been proven like 10 sets of 10, 2 to 3 times a week is pretty standard, pretty good. It's a good baseline to shoot for. I tend to lean more towards the concept of top of the minute or on the minute training. Some people call it EMOM, every minute on the minute. I tend to use on the minute protocols for conditioning and fat loss when I'm using just swings. I just find it more time efficient for most people. And yeah, sometimes you have to use a lighter kettlebell, but whatever. But the truth is we can build muscle and achieve all the aforementioned benefits by using more productive exercises than just the kettlebell swing, as good as it is. Okay. Now, which kettlebell exercises am I talking about? Well, this is where the double kettlebell exercises come in. These things fit the bill perfectly here, in my opinion. And the best double kettlebell exercises for building muscle, well, 1 is the clean and press, 2, the clean and push press, 3, the clean and jerk, and 4, the front squat, with a sprinkling of some other double kettlebell lifts mixed in, like the high pull, the snatch, and yes, even the double kettlebell swing when it's placed in there strategically. Okay. Why? Well, the clean uses more of the upper back muscles than the swing. So your upper back and your shoulders, they get more love. Okay. So that means they get more muscular as a result. Yet the clean also trains exactly the same muscles of the lower body that the swing does. Okay. So it's bigger bang for your buck exercise. Now, here's what's pretty cool too, is the swing, right, doesn't really train the arms, as I mentioned before, but the clean does. Okay, so as the kettlebells come out of the rack into the backswing, that stretches or eccentrically loads the biceps. Okay, all right. So eccentric loading is a great way to grow muscle. And the clean also taxes your grip more as the kettlebells come out of the rack. Okay, because they're moving faster than they are coming down from the apex of a swing. All right, so we've got biceps and we've got grip. All right, let's take a look at the press, why the press is in there and why we put the clean and press in there. And that's because the press directly trains your triceps and your shoulders, your upper pecs, to a lesser extent. Plus, the press, when performed correctly, also trains your lats and even your abs, right? So now we've got your entire body totally covered, right? Between the clean and the press. And some of you may be saying, yeah, but Jeff, what about my quads? Where do my quads get in there? Well, don't worry, my friend. That's why we picked the double kettlebell front squat, which incidentally, not only works your quads really well, works your adductors, your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves from staying upright because they get put on stretch. And the really exciting part is the double kettlebell front squat punishes your abs. Okay. When you have some heavy kettlebells in the rack, your abs are working big time. And actually so is your upper back to hold those kettlebells in the rack to keep them from peeling forward and out or out to the sides. Okay, so let's wrap this video up. Swings for muscle building? Yeah, not so much. Use those 4 double kettlebell exercises that I mentioned. In our next video, I will show you how do you incorporate kettlebell swings into your training and your workouts in order to build muscle if you insist on using them to do so. All right. Now, if you want some muscle building programs using kettlebells or double kettlebells, I'll leave a couple links from some programs that I have below in the description. All right. If you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, click the like button, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? What have been your results trying to use swings for building muscle, right? Has it worked? What about fat loss? What about conditioning? Okay. So again, leave me your comments below. If you haven't subscribed, do so already. Click the bell button there, subscribe. And if you found this really helpful, pass it on to a friend or friends, maybe like 100 of them. Okay. And, feel free to put this out on the other social medias as well, right? We're not limited to just email here. Okay. So until next time, my friend, stay strong.